Hello, this is Michael Bosey. Welcome to the podcast, Marketing Without the Marketing, here on controlmousemedia.com. Appreciate you joining me. Today I would like to talk about, when I hear the folks who say, I've tried everything and it's just not working. That might be regarding blogging, social media, or even general business things. I've tried everything. Well, no, you haven't tried everything. You just haven't, And you know how I know that? Because things are changing all the time and they're changing quickly, especially in the digital world, right? So if you feel like what you're doing is still not working for you, then it just might be time to amend your strategy. As I say all the time, it's not about the what, but about the how. And the nuances matter, right? The what you do, what you're doing, what your business is about, the activities, the strategy, the tactics, the what. But really, it's it's more important how, right? Getting at those little nuances that drive the strategy. But then also, I would say even behind that is the why. If you're trying to run a business around this, why is it that you do what you do? What's your mission? What's your purpose? What are you trying to solve for folks? Huge thing when you're trying to build a business. And, you got to keep iterating, trying new things until you find something that clicks. Or you find one element that works after iterating, then, oh, look, one thing works. You find this one thing and you stick with that. And then you start to build around that until you find another element that works. Try. Oh, here, you hit on another one again, then keep iterating. And this iteration of sometimes almost literally countless failures this is why you got to keep trying, right? You got to keep trying. And there's a natural time where you'll know that, okay, I've reached the end. But if you don't do enough iterating, you won't really know that. You won't know it for sure. And a lot of people, I feel like, or at least from, what I read on this, right, is that people give up just when success is on the other side of the door. They've gotten so close. They know the market or what they're doing so well, but they just didn't stick it out enough, And the problem also is that I feel like, we have this you see this in entrepreneurial ventures. I certainly saw this at, being an employee at large companies too. There's this culture of success that puts a stigma on failure. And I find this to be really, almost to the point of poisonous. Failure is good. It's the only way that you learn. Failure is good. So this stigma of failure, you have to reject this notion because I think it just sets up false expectations, right? It layers on tons of extra pressure that you don't need. I feel that it's just better to be honest about what you're doing, cherish the small successes, but recognize the setbacks too, right? The failures are how you learn. In fact, I always say be wary of those whose project seems perfect at every point, right? Like when you ask a CEO of a new startup or an entrepreneur, hey, how's your business going? How's your startup going? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get, oh, everything's going great, or we're crushing it, killing it, we're rocking it, whatever. And look, hope and enthusiasm is a great thing. I don't mean to diminish it. It's the fuel that keeps a startup going, especially when things are really rough and it's really hard. And I've been there as being, I was an early joiner at 2 very early stage startups. But I can't remember a single period in a long career of large companies and small where everything's gone well all the time. Right? You go through periodic cycles, up this week, down the next, up this day, down the next, great day today, terrible day yesterday. Sometimes if you're at a startup, it can even seem like hour to hour. Seriously. But what really matters is how you respond to it. Now, are you able to stay positive when things are down? Probably not always. But I think it makes a big difference as to how quickly you actually get through the down periods. Seth Godin calls this the dip, and it can be a grind at that point, right? Where you feel like everything you do, it has very little effect, and you're not making progress, it's an uphill climb. I mean, you're not going to be positive every day during the dip. But I feel like with the good attitude, trying different things, all this iterating, which is what this whole episode is about. I mean, that's the type of thing that's going to help you sort of, get through that. It's not going to make it easier, but it's going to help you get through it quicker. I mean, feeling sorry for yourself is easy, but easy is not the thing that usually wins, right? So saying that you've tried everything is actually, it's kind of a form of giving up, right? Or that's what I think anyway. I don't think you want to use that as an excuse or an easy out. Oh, I've tried everything. You probably haven't. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't know when to stop, right? There's always more stuff that you can try, but when it becomes logical or necessary, or, look, there are outside factors in this, or I've gotten, multiple views on this from people that I respect, or I've talked to my customers directly and no, we've now uncovered that we do not have a need here. We're not going to be able to solve this problem, answer this issue. Then you got to know when to stop. There's still more things that you can try. Don't get me wrong. You haven't tried everything yet. But sometimes you got to let that go and just say, all right, it's time to actually put an end to this. And it's a really tough thing to do. But of course, if you're truly at that point, you're going to want to do that anyway, right? You got to cut your losses, move on to the next thing, or, turn this into something completely different. There might be an avenue that you haven't looked at, a facet of the business that you develop into something that you just never imagined when you first started this venture. And that could be for anything, whether it's a set of services, whether it's a product that you're building. It really doesn't matter. And I mean, that's been my experience so far in running a business, 18 months running my own business. And I feel like, where I started and what I thought I'd be doing and what I'm actually doing, it's very different. And there's certainly things that I've been stubborn about that I've stuck with and keep iterating and keep trying because I just believe, that I can make this certain thing work. And then there's other things where I say, all right, you know what? That's an audience or a segment or a faction that I cannot serve. What I do is not going to be worthwhile or valuable to that particular audience segment. I give up on those folks. And you know what? And then just sort of, start to reposition my business around, serving the people that I can serve, where we're really in tune and harmonious, and the things that I do are really lined up with the things they value. And when you find that, I mean, that's when good things start to happen. All right, well, thanks so much for listening. As always, I really appreciate it. Keep the questions coming. I find this to be fuel for future podcasts, future episodes. So I really appreciate that. You can find more in the backlog of podcasts unless you've been following, up till now. And if you have been and a longtime listener, I really appreciate it. It's so great. I really do appreciate the attention. All right, well, thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.